So we got 3 comma 2. Start there and then go up 3, up 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, over 1. Let's do that a few times. Go both directions. And use a straight edge to graph it. All right. Now, what is the equation of this line? And we'll put that for f of x. So I'll put the absolute value, the x, and I'll make one mistake, see if you can find it. So the mistake is, yeah, so it's always the opposite sign. This is positive. We want a minus right here. So make sure this is minus 3. Yep. Now we need a horizontal line to intersect it. So when you guys are doing this, choose a y value that actually goes through some points that you made with your slope. So don't just pick one at random, but pick one that actually goes through it. So you'd want to pick either here or here. So that'd be either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, 7, 8. So which one would you like to do, 5 or 8? All right, so we'll go 5. There we go. So the solutions will be, our answers here will be off the x-axis, will be x equals 2 and x equals 4. So we did the whole process backwards. Instead of being given an equation, graphing it, we just made up our own equation, or our own vertex and slope, found the equation, and from the graph we can see our solution. The idea is that once you have that, we're going to go back to what used to be the first part and actually solve it algebraically. So remember that the f of x, that's the left side, right? And the g of x is the right side of the equal sign. So we got minus 3 plus 2 on the left, and then the right-hand side is 5. And if we do everything correctly, this must be the answer, 2 and 4. That must be the answer. There's no other way about it. Okay? So if you get something else, it's stop, go back, see what's going on. Okay? Now look up here, and let's follow the pattern. So the algebra will remain the same for every problem. So first step was to look at this location, find out what the number is, and if we're solving this one, we would subtract 2 on both sides, right? They cancel out, we get 2, 6 minus 2 is 4. So on this problem, what should we do? Okay, so what's the number in this location on the problem we're working on? It's right here, same number, right? It's also a 2. So we're going to do the same thing on both sides, subtract 2. So you see how the number might be different, but the step and how you solve it does not change. Okay, equals 3. Let's look at step 2 above. On step 2 up here, they had a 4, and then the next step would be to divide both sides by that same number, right? So that would cancel out. And 4 divided by 4 would equal 1. So let's do the same thing, but instead of a 4, what number do we have? 3, right? So we got a 3 right here. So we're going to divide by that number. Instead of 4, the rest is going to be 3. But you see how the location is exact same where you want to look to figure it out. Okay, so now we have the absolute value of x minus 3 is equal to 1. Yeah. Which is pretty similar here. So we have absolute value. So we broke it up into two parts. One with a negative one, because of this, and one with a positive one. So we're going to do the same thing here. Break it up into two equations. X minus 3 equals -1 and +1. And you notice how there's no more absolute value here. So that's the trade-off. To get rid of these two, they turn into a negative and a positive sign. And then go ahead and solve. Since this was a +1 up here, we subtracted 1 on both sides. Ours is a little different. It's a -3, so we must add 3 both sides. Okay. So x equals 3 minus 1, 2. X equals 3 plus 1, 4. And of course, those two must match whatever we got off the graph. So we had step 1, right? Step 2 is to divide. Step 3, right? One's positive, one's negative. Any more? Okay, so let's do maybe one more. You guys can kind of go ahead of me and just check to make sure you're doing it right. And then after that, you guys are going to come up with your own vertex and your own slope and create your own problem, solve it all the way through. We'll come around and check it to make sure you know how to solve your own problem, and that's when you'll get the assignment, when you complete that first task. Let's still do like one more. I'm going to skip over to space 4, and the one you're going to do with us, or the ones you're going to do with your own points, will be at number 3. Let's skip over to 4. Now, as we're doing this, I'd like you to, when you're creating, to pick points that do not have zeros. So don't pick a vertex of 0, 3 or anything. So no zeros. And pick a slope other than 1. Okay. All right. So for this one, let's try. How about -5, -3. And for the slope, I'm going to pick about 4/3. So we'll do one with a fraction. All right, so plot the vertex. Go ahead and do that. Plot the vertex. Check. Okay, plot the slope. And, well, we only really have one set of points that go across the dots, so that kind of narrows that down. So we're going to do equals to equals 1. And I'm getting 1 because it's just 1 above the axes. Oh, good. Okay, what's the equation? Write an equation down, see what you get. minus 3 on the outside. On the inside will be what? Plus 5. So this is a negative, positive. And what are the solutions? So go to the x-axis. Right here at negative 9. And right here at negative 3. And what did I do wrong just now? No parentheses. Right. Negative 9 from negative 2 is a point that's down here that has nothing to do with the graph. So by making a x equals negative 9 and x equals negative 2 as plus parentheses, that means x is the first number and y is the second number. Alright, so let's solve it. Write the equation. Solve. Go ahead and write the equation. Write the equation that you're going to solve. That's what you got? Alright. So if you need to, you can refer back to the book on what to do first, second, and third. So first thing is actually look at this part right to the left equal sign. Negative 3, so we should add through both sides. Now before we had a 4 here, so we just divided both sides by 4. We have a 4/3, which still works. You can divide both sides by 4/3, and you'll get 4 divided by 4/3. And if you think back to elementary school, that's 4 times 3 over 4. But either way, whether you divide both sides by 5/3 or 4/3, you end up doing this, multiplying by 3/4. So we can just do this and skip this whole dividing both sides by a fraction and just multiply by the reciprocal. So let's multiply by the reciprocal of 4 over 3 and multiply by 3 over 4. So the 3's will cancel, 4's will cancel. If you need to, you can recall that when you're multiplying by fractions, you just multiply by the top number and divide by the bottom. So do you know how to multiply a number by 3? You know how to divide a number by 4. If that's the case, then you know how to multiply by 3/4. You don't know how many people that will say, oh, fraction hard. And I say, what's 3 times 4? They'll say 12. What's 4 times divided by 4? They'll say 1. You just multiply by 3/4. So quit saying a fraction's hard. If you know if 4 times 3 is and 4 divided by 4 is, you can do that. Right? And it doesn't matter which order. You can multiply by the top and then divide by the bottom, or divide by the bottom, multiply by the top. So if you do it one way, you get 4 times 3 is 12. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Or you can do 4 divided by 4, which is 1, and then 1 times 3 is 3. So either way, you get 3. But in no circumstances are you allowed to say, in high school, all fractions hard. Multiplying by 3, too hard. Dividing by 4, can't do it. Obviously, you can do both. All right, next, we have the absolute value. So we can go ahead and absolute value. X plus 5 negative 3. And x plus 5 So you use this number for the positive. Notice how the left-hand side doesn't change at all except for dropping down the value. And so we follow. What do we get? Yeah, we got x equals -8. X equals -2. So, yeah, we got a -9 from the graph, -8 from that, from the algebra. So hopefully you're like, okay, so which one's wrong? You're not like, okay, I'm done. I solved it. If they don't match, something's wrong. So go back to the graph. Check it one more time. Did I count right? So up 4 over 3 would really be right here. Yeah. There you go. That's where it should have gone, and the answer should have been -8. So if you kind of mess up and you get different answers, the next step is to go back and find out where's the mistake and correct it. Right? Not just like, oh, I got two different answers, or I got two answers on my graph, but I only got one answer over here. Well, I did something very well done. It doesn't count until they match. All right. So, okay, so you want to think that. Good. All right, so hopefully that's a good enough start. You guys go back to 3 now, and you come up with your own numbers that doesn't match anybody around you for the vertex and slope, where the vertex can have zeros and the slope cannot be equal to 1. Anything other than equal to 1, and show it to us. We'll come around and check.